Let's move on to this now. The South African Transport and Allied Workers Union has welcomed the arrest of former Transnet officials, including CEO Siyabonga Gama, on fraud charges as well as charges of corruption and money laundering. Now, they appeared at the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercial Crimes Court yesterday. The union says the arrests show that corruption runs across both the private and public sectors in South Africa and is calling for an overhaul of the country's political economy. Let's get you more on this now. Bring in the Deputy Secretary General, or at least we'll do that in just a moment once we've been able to re-establish that line. The union's been able to release quite a statement welcoming these arrests and adding, though, that things shouldn't stop there. Conversations also taking place for much of yesterday around whether or not there should be any kind of celebration about these arrests, at least for now. And this is, of course, on the back of the time that we've had to wait from the moment the allegations around state capture, as it were, emerged to when we saw the arrest of people who are considered to be the big fish, as it were, involved in that alleged skullduggery. We'll get you more from that union as soon as we're able to reach them. In the interim, let's bring you this. Multilingual language policy expert, Dr. Rankwena Moreng, says the recognition of South African Sign Language as an official language is about acknowledging the existence of fellow human beings. This comes after an amendment to the Constitution to recognize South African Sign Language was approved by Cabinet for public comment. Moreng says that he's elated by the progress that's been made towards making Sign Language an official language.
Requested by the Constitutional Review Committee to come and give a motivation. There were three submissions that were made, one for the sign language, the other one for SATAWU, and then it was for Kilovedu. And the SATAWU and the sign language were given a go-ahead based on the discussion we had. Kilovedu couldn't make it because they didn't have what is called the orthography. Orthography means it's a grammar and style of a language, typifying the kind of grammar that typify a language itself. So the Kilovedu one didn't have it. So the sign language was given a go-ahead, and it was given an approval then. I'm very much elated and happy that the little sweat that we went through in 2017, even beyond that, is now coming to fruition. We've been waiting for this for a long time. It is much about acknowledging the existence of fellow human beings that are part of ourselves. It gives them the opportunity to be able to converse, speak in signing.
Let's take you back to one of our main discussions today. SATAWU welcoming the arrest of former Transnet officials, including the CEO Siyabonga Gama, who were arrested yesterday on charges of fraud, corruption and money laundering. They also appeared in the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercial Crimes Court yesterday. The union saying that these arrests illustrating that corruption in this country runs across both the private and public sectors, and the union is now also calling for an overhaul of South Africa's political economy. Let's once again try to chat to the Deputy General Secretary of SATAWU, that's Anele, who joins us now via our telephone line. Anele, thanks for your time and patience. It's great to have you on the program. I wonder, as a start, in your statement that you've released, you say you've welcomed these arrests, but there's been conversation around whether or not this is something worth celebrating, given that we haven't seen successful prosecution as yet. Where does SATAWU stand in that discussion?
Well, thank you, Ayanda, for having me. Good morning to you and your listeners. That's the same problem that we are having. If you see, if you went through our statement, it's exactly the point that we're making to say we welcome the arrest, but we believe that there should be more that is happening other than arrest, because we have that history as a country of seeing people being arrested and then the next day they are free. So as the union, we are saying that there should be prosecution, and we want to see the law taking its course. We are not saying they are guilty at this point, because you will know that you are innocent until proven guilty. But we want to see them going through that process, and we believe that not only the executives, there's a board that was supposed to do or to take the oversight of these executives. Where were they when these things were happening? What did they do?
Yeah.
Not, but it has to go out to the ministers that were in charge of this institution that were arrested yesterday, we are saying that it should go beyond. If there's a hand of the minister that was responsible at the time, let that minister be prosecuted. We want to see what will happen about the board that was supposed to play oversight at that point in time. What are we saying about it? If indeed they fail to execute their duties, let them be charged as well and go through the trial, so that we paint a picture that says, indeed, as a country now, we are serious about dealing with corruption and fraud.
Of course, there's an expectation that the NPA will widen the net, as it were. But this moment is also, I guess, giving us an opportunity to once again ask questions about how things were allowed to get so bad. We know that typically it's workers who bear the brunt of what's taken place across SOEs, including Transnet. So from a worker's perspective, do you get the impression that measures are being put in place to prevent a repeat of what happened?
We are watching very carefully as a union, because we don't want to say indeed measures are being taken in making sure that we correct the situation that existed. All we are saying is that we are happy with what we are seeing. We are happy with the arrest, but let the prosecution take its course, so that tomorrow we can be able to say, indeed, we are serious about dealing with the challenges that are facing these SOEs. Because if we allow that from one SOE to another, corruption happens and there's nothing that is taking place, then it means we are running the country down, because these SOEs are supposed to be assisting the state or the government to make sure that we build our economy. So when we collapse at an SOE level on the basis of corruption and fraud, and we are doing nothing about it, tomorrow we'll have no economy.
Right.
So we don't want to say as a union that we are seeing that there are measures that are being taken to make sure that we are dealing with these issues. At a strategic level, we haven't heard anything, but we are happy to hear from the public and from media that these arrests took place. Maybe we'll be called in, because we are a stakeholder in Transnet. We'll be called in and be taken into confidence as to how did this whole thing emanated, so that we can be in terms of the issues. But at this point, we are watching from far, but we are saying let the law take its course.
Right. There's also been a white paper that's been published recently on national rail policy. I wonder to what extent, if you've been able to go through that white paper, you feel that it has a proper diagnosis of the challenges, issue within rail, and what it takes to fix them.
Okay, can you repeat that? Sorry.
I was just saying that there's been a white paper that's recently been published on national rail policy. Do you feel that it accurately captures some of the challenges within rail and what it will take to try to fix those challenges?
Definitely. But we also believe as a union that you see, once you leave out the stakeholders in the industry that you are dealing with, people with no other interest but to make sure that this institution exists, you leave them out. You rush to develop a paper that talks to challenges without properly engaging. You might leave necessary information that was supposed to be there. We are saying we are not engaged, but there are few pointers where we believe that the paper is accurate, but we still believe that proper consultation needs to take place to make sure that we deal with all the challenges. We are not 100% happy, because we believe that there are issues that are not appearing on the white paper. And if proper consultation would have been done, we would be having a white paper that we can all celebrate and make sure that there's an implementation on it. But, however, at an exco level, we're engaging Transnet on those issues.
All right. Anele, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Anele is SATAWU's Deputy Secretary General. Thanks.